The first thing I saw was my name. Not a deal, not brother, just the charity case. And below it, laughing emojis, screenshots, voice notes. 7 years of it. I was standing in my empty apartment, divorce papers still folded on the counter, when my phone buzzed. A new WhatsApp group. Real family. I opened it because I thought it was a mistake. It was. 847 messages, loaded like a crime scene. They'd been betting on when I'd lose my job, mocking the way I dressed, calling my ex-wife a gold digger with standards. They celebrated the day she left me. One of them even posted my wedding photo and wrote, "Look at him acting like he belongs." I didn't feel shock. Shock is loud. What I felt was quiet, surgical. I screenshotted everything. I wasn't always the outsider. There was a time when my sister held my hand crossing the road, when my cousins fought over who got to sit next to me at dinner. I remember Grandma's courtyard, the smell of jasmine, the clatter of teacups, my father's voice filling the space like safety. Back then, I was just family. Then my father died, and overnight, I became a responsibility. My uncles took over the support. My aunts took over the opinions. My sister took over the embarrassment. They started with sympathy. They ended with humiliation. They never said it to my face, of course. They smiled, hugged, called me beta. But in that group chat, they were honest. I was never their blood. I was their charity. The signs had always been there. I just refused to see them. Like how they insisted on paying for every meal, but made sure the waiter heard. How they asked about my job like it was a school project. How my sister once told me, "Just be grateful. Nobody else would keep you around." I thought it was frustration. Turns out, it was their truth. The messages erased any doubt. They didn't think I'd fail. They were waiting for it. I didn't confront them. Not yet. You don't warn people before you take them down. You collect. First, I traced the money. My father's inheritance had been managed by my eldest uncle, the same uncle who wrote, "If he ever asks about the property, just say it's complicated. He's too dumb to understand legal stuff." I understood, so I pulled the records, land titles, bank transfers, rental income they never mentioned. They had been living off what was supposed to be mine. Then I hired a lawyer quietly. Then I started a second file. Screenshots, statements, timestamps, a full archive of their betrayal. I didn't need revenge. I needed leverage. Grandma's 80th birthday was the perfect stage. They all showed up. Perfume, laughter, fake affection. My sister hugged me like we were close. I could still smell the lie on her skin. They sat me at the far end of the table, out of habit, out of comfort. They never expected me to move. I stood when they started the cake. I had one envelope in my hand. "Before we celebrate," I said, "I think the family should see something." The room went quiet in layers. I projected the screenshots on the wall behind Grandma's chair. The first one was my sister's voice note. "Honestly, I can't wait till he messes up again. Maybe then we won't have to pretend." My aunt gasped. My cousin looked at the floor. My uncle's face turned the color of regret. I let the messages roll. Betting pools, jokes, my divorce announcement followed by applause. No one spoke because they all remembered typing it. Then I placed the second envelope on the table. "Everything you've been stealing from my father's estate," I said, "with legal documentation. You have 30 days to return it before I press charges." My uncle started stuttering. My sister whispered my name like I was still hers. I looked at Grandma. "I was always family to you," I said softly. "I just wanted the truth from the rest." She didn't cry. She just nodded, and that hurt them more than anything. But I wasn't done. My final message had already been sent in the group chat. "Thanks for the receipts." Right after I left, they panicked, deleted the group, started calling me. Too late. The evidence was already in court. 2 weeks later, the first settlement arrived. They returned the property titles, the money, the apologies.
My sister came to my door with red eyes and shaking hands. "I never meant it," she said. I handed her a printed screenshot of her own words. "You did," I replied. She had no answer, because revenge isn't loud. It's final. At the next family gathering, they didn't sit me at the end of the table. They didn't sit me at all. They stood when I walked in. Respect born from fear. Justice born from silence. I didn't feel anger. I felt relief, because for the first time, I wasn't their charity. I was their consequence.